my friends here. Today I am actually trying to film this troubleshooting is long past due really, and so recently it's because of someone who trying to tell me that they still sometimes when they starting in this journey it's kind of hard. You would at times experience mud, what people will call it mud. I have a high tolerance for what they call mud, but today we'll explore, okay, and we will just do it together and see how it affects us and how you guys how we can together deal with it, and we'll have fun. Okay, let's try that, and I'll explain as I go. And so I'm doing this. I did this water chart and a wheel. I think I will put it on my blog when I get around to it. I really will try to do that so you guys can take a look, okay? Now these are the colors that I usually use in my channel here, and most of it really I seldom reach for anything else, but I do if there's something particular. And so these are the, okay, this is right here, okay? I'll show you. This is my green mix, okay? Cadmium yellow, light, sap green, perlin green, the beautiful one that I cannot stop raving about, and indigo. This is Pink's gray right here, okay? And sometimes I will use Pink's gray to mix with indigo, and I also can mix it with the perlin green. But Pink's gray mixed with anything, almost everything works. But there's blue in there, so you have to be careful when you get around to these color, okay? What I mean by careful is what we're trying to talk about today, making mud, right? And so, because it's blue, the opposite of blue color is orange. When we do opposite color, sometimes it could turn out to be a beautiful gray. But if we are not very content, and then we put a little bit of yellow or a little bit of pink in there, or it exists in some of the color, then it will turn into mud. I think with professional watercolor, like I wanted to show you guys my Pink's gray right here. Let's just show you guys, okay? It is from this brand called Graham. Okay, and this is professional watercolor. It's quite expensive. I think I might pay $7.50, $8 per tube, but it lasts a long time. And I have this for a long time. And this is this Pink's gray right here. And when we use what they call the professional watercolor, it's a little bit harder to make mud. And then I will show you, I will just show you right now. This is a palette I got for when my grandchildren come and say hi to me and visit me all the way from Texas, and I like to paint with them, okay? And so I got this, I don't even know, in Amazon. I forgot the brand. It was no-name brand. It was $24 for all these color, right? Because I wanted the grandkid to have fun with me, but then I don't want them to be using my expensive thing. Professional is wasted on the little one. And so what I do is I let them use these color. This is the paint chart. These colors, some of them are beautiful, but as you can see that, well, with experience, you should be able to tell that there's some white in the color that is mixed in the color. You can see with this paint that this is there's a lot of white. There's a lot of white here. I can see there's a lot of white in here, in this one. Individually, they're beautiful. Why do I bring this up is because I'm sitting here in my studio and I'm thinking about you, and I thought, why are some of you are very frustrated? Because you can use this, but you be careful not to mix color. Okay, so if you get a palette, like the other day, 2 weeks ago, it was a general conference of the church, and so I was sitting and listening to the talk, and I thought, oh, I really wanted to bring a palette and just lay some watercolor on some drawing. And so this is the one I use, and then I feel frustrated. I say, where is my green? Where's my sap green? Where is my perlin green? And then I was just say, hey, Kathy, you don't want to bring all your professional watercolor down here, right, at my living room. And so I just make do of what I have, and I do not try to mix color. I might have mixed a little bit of the yellow with the blue, maybe right here, trying to mix some green color that I like. Not very successful, but I was content because I was just trying to relax and listen. It helped me not to fall asleep and focus. And so what I'm saying is you can use this color, But be careful when you're trying to mix them. Don't try to mix too much, because it is the white that is contained in these little pigment, this half pan, that will make your things turn mud. And so if this is what you have to work with, it's fine. What you need to do is do what I always do. I do this. Whenever I have time, I will sit in my studio. If I need to think about something, solve a problem, something is grieving me, I will just come in and I will paint whatever in here. So this pink color ink is what stained my beautiful brush, but it's okay, it's not dirty, it's just it has a little stain in here. So and I think I will probably go order another one. And these are some of the dark color that I try to mix so that I can see how the color looks like, and I really have fun doing this. This is very relaxing to me. And so through the years, I do this kind of thing a lot, more than you would imagine. I would say, you know, if I could, I don't know, you know, 2-3 times a week at least, you know, just to help me, so that I will not, I need to use, oh, where is my little rabbit? I need to go, I have, okay, the one that we just posted, right? This little rabbit, and so this is not the one that I paint with you guys. This is actually my practice. And so, in order for me to be able to paint like this, I do this. I already do my practice ahead of time, so I would, when I go in to paint this, then I will be able to correctly and not make mistake, or not make so many mistakes, or know how to correct mistakes. And so I would refer to, let's pull this rabbit out. I will refer to this rabbit as we go, okay? Now, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at what I did, okay? I think some of you have the frustration that the body of the rabbit, instead of being able to have it very gentle and soft like this with colors everywhere, it happened that some of you actually had experienced muddy over here. And so I thought, okay, it's long past due. I need to, you know, address the problem of what I perceive and what I think might be a problem. Okay, now, one of the technique, okay, that we need to, now I'm swirling my brush. You can hear the water over there, right? I'm cleaning my brush over in my big pot of water over here, and this is how I dry it. I use a towel because a towel can take a lot of drying, right? And so this is how I dry it. So I would never really have a dripping brush, dripping with water brush, that I don't do this, unless I'm doing it with the background and I let it take it away with me. Now, because of my 20-some years of experience, I know how to rescue myself. But in beginning, you know, I would call this a damp brush, okay, kind of wet. And so, and the reason I show you this is you will see. Okay, now for I have some pencil drawing right here, okay? Now we're gonna kind of look at this as an animal, okay? You can see that I put the word head over here. Now, it can be head of the rabbit, it can be head of the owl that we have, or head of any animal, a lion, a horse, whatever, okay? The head of an animal always casts a shadow onto the body, okay? It is, you know, just the way our head is, right? And so, now I'm drying my brush, and then I go into my paint spray, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is use paint spray and a little bit of lamp black and a yellow ochre with burnt umber, okay? And so, I'll see if I can, so a little bit of paint spray, a little bit of black lamp black, maybe just a tiny little bit. And this is the yellow ochre over here, okay? The reason why I put it over here is because yellow ochre has black in it. And so, and then we also, this is quinacridone burnt orange, and this is our burnt umber, okay? And so, we're gonna see, try our best to make a painting that maybe it will be a little bit more beginner friendly. And then we will try to make mud, okay? And see if it is, wow, that is a very noisy car. Okay, now I'm picking up some paint spray, okay? Very, very light, very, very, not a very heavy-handed. Okay, now the paper is very, very dry, okay? And so I'm coming in here, right? Now, as you can remember what I told you, you know, hey, guys, we need to hurry and come in here if we want to soften the line over there, because paint spray is a sedimentary color. That means there's a lot of sediment. Okay, so if you you know, go take a cup of tea and then come back to soften this line, it's not likely that you will be able to do so. Okay, now while we soften it, we might want to pull some color out. Now this is still wet. This is still wet, okay? Now I'm really focusing on a technique right here, okay? While it's still a little bit wet, what I will do is I will come in with a little bit more pink spray pigment, and I will make this area between the head and the body a little bit more intense. Okay, now why do I do that? Because then the shadow will be darker. Because I'm using the pink gray not only as the color of the body, I'm also using it as the color of the shadow. Okay, now for all of us who are beginner, what I think that if you wanted to do, like, let's just not make it so kind of like an ugly shape, okay? We will just put a little bit of more gray color over here and make it kind of irregular, okay? And then we say, okay, now soften this area a little bit, okay? And then we're going to put down a weapon. What I mean is, now, you know, that this, okay? When you're trying to soften the line. What I mean is, you don't actually see me doing that, because every time if I have to bring the towel in here, it will be very annoying, right? And so we're going to just let that dry, okay? Now this is our attempt to make it a little bit easier for you to not make mud. Now, you can see that if you compare this area with my area right here, you can, the area right here, you can see that this is a lot darker, right, than that. Can you see that? Okay. Okay, you can see that that is a lot darker than this. And so you can imagine how light a touch I use on picking up the paints, right? Very, very little paint. But why is this a little bit darker? Because I think you can get away with a body with that kind of darkness, that will be fine. And so I'm allowing myself to do that so you can see the color easier, okay? Now, what I would want to do right now is, some of us who might, so I'm going to draw a circle right here, when we are in the beginning stage, might make a problem, okay? Not a very good circle, but we'll go with that. Might make this mistake, okay? Because I'm thinking about, you know, in what situation would this turn into mud, okay? Now, so what I'm going to do is, and maybe you guys have learned watercolor from somebody else, okay? And that you say that, oh, okay, I have a hard time doing what you do. I'm going to wet the area first. Okay, and then I'm going to give you the benefit that you are not going to make a puddle here. Just lightly wet the area, okay? And then you go into your pink spray, okay? Okay, and then you drop your color in here. Now this is wet, okay? So you can see that as of right now, it's still very beautiful, right? Your color right here is very, very beautiful. And then you say, you know, but Kathy said that that I need a little bit of lamp black, okay? So you put the lamp black over here for the shadow. Okay, and then suddenly you tell yourself, oh my goodness, that looked like it's a lot of intense color, right? And then you kind of leave it, you know, wasn't thinking too much about it, and then you go into your burnt umber. Okay, a lot of burnt umber, because, you know, we have a lot of paints, right? And then you start dropping it in here while it's still wet. Okay, you put the burnt umber in there, and then you say, you know, I might want a little bit of burnt umber. Oh, but my burnt umber is actually taking away my pink spray. Let me go back to the pink spray, and then I'm dropping some more pink spray over here. Okay, so, and wait, Kathy, what did you just say? You want to put some yellow ochre on there? Okay, let's do some yellow ochre. And then you start dropping some yellow ochre in here. Now, at this point, you know, if this is still the body of your rabbit, okay, and I'm just assuming that if you are using the professional watercolor, and then you're doing what Kathy told you, you're right? I told you, you know, soften the area. So, okay, that's the line of the rabbit. Okay, now you look at that, and then you look at this rabbit right here. In order for you to go from here back to here, it is almost impossible, right? So right now you say, if you are not a nervous person that I am, okay, at this point you might say, oh, I think I have put too much color on here. Okay, so the color of your rabbit will become what you call muddy. But sometimes, because we're nervous and we're going with the video, and I always tell you, just stop the video, right? When you're experiencing problem and you say, okay, I'm gonna put more paint spray in here to make up for the, losing of the color, right? But then you don't see the yellow, and then you put some more yellow. I really want to see some more yellow on there. Okay, you can see that so you say, okay, I'm done. Kathy is already going on to different part of the body, and so of the body of the rabbit, so maybe she's doing the flower, and so I'm done. And then when you come back, okay, now this is really, really wet right now, okay? So we're gonna just let it go. Okay, we're gonna let it go, and then we'll see what will show up when this area is black, but it's dry. But do you see what I'm getting at is, I'm perceiving that might be the problem of a lot of times when we're beginner, is because I have experienced that. I remember during the beginning stage of my watercolor, I cry a lot because I couldn't do what I wanted to do, and I will end up in situation like that. And then I would just say, okay, I'm going to give up at this point. Okay, and so what I would do is, because I don't want the rabbit body to look like that, because it doesn't really look like a rabbit, and maybe I want to rescue it, and I will say, oh, I think about it for a little bit, and I say, a rabbit should have a little bit more burnt umber, so I add a little bit more even on there, right? But with watercolor, we know that this is not how we can rescue the situation. The way we can be more not nervous when we're painting is when we do things like that, which I mean practice. Okay, and so now let's go back to the head, because we have done that little bit of color. Now this is totally dry. In Utah, things dry faster. Now you could be in Hong Kong, you could be in Malaysia or Texas, and things doesn't dry. And so you must I know that there are some people, they have a blow dryer, that's their weapon. They come in here and they blow dry it. I never have to do that because Utah is so dry, things dry faster. But if you are in a very wet country, you would want to touch it and see, is it dry? Now, when it's dry, then what I can do is, okay, I'm going to come in and I will kind of wet this area. Now, wet is after we dab the brush, okay? And it's still a damp brush, right? And then I will kind of wet this area, and I say, what I'm going to do right now is my burnt umber time, okay? So that area is a little bit of what I call damp area, okay? Not very, very wet. Okay, so do you see that I actually push some of my burnt umber into the gray color, into the pink gray? And then I'm going to come in. Burnt umber also, we need to, work fast, right? Because it is also sedimentary. Okay, and I can do that. I can even kind of overlap the pink gray a little bit. Okay, you see that? Now, I have not wet this area, right? But because of Utah's situation, and things are not that wet, and also you remember that I say yellow ochre and burnt umber can actually mix in together. So now I use a damp brush and I kind of wet this area a little bit, okay? And then I'll go in to my yellow ochre, and then I'll put some color over here. Take care not to push into the pink gray, because yellow ochre is a light color, right? And so, and then I can come in and I can soften it, and I can push a little bit into the pink gray. Do you see? Do you see how this method, you will be able to overlap color together and be able to accomplish this kind of gentle and soft effect. Okay, now this is kind of dry. Well, it's not totally dry because we have put so much pigment, but you can see that a lot of you might think that I have made mud, and I'm very sad because I felt like I have ruined my picture. In a sense that, to me, it's my humble opinion that it is worth it. I'm cleaning my brush now while I'm talking to you. It is worth it to say, maybe I'll start over. I'll take another piece of paper or the back of the paper and start over. I'll trace the rabbit again and then start over and try to be more careful, okay? And so now I'm using a damp brush, okay? I'm coming down here and then I'm just kind of wetting the area. And do you see how fast in Utah that area is already dry, okay? And so I'm going to go in with the Payne's Gray and then I can kind of finish up what I started. And you can see that how close I push it to the, push it to the burnt umber is not a problem at all. You see that? And then I say, oh, this, my brain is telling me, Kathy, soften the area. So this whole thing will be soft, right? Now, I haven't put any wet over here, right? And so right now I say, oh, maybe I need a little bit more Payne's Gray, or maybe I put a little bit more Lamb's Black. Now, Payne's Gray and Lamb's Black, you can mix those two together. It will not be a problem at all, okay? It will not turn into mud. Okay, so I'm going to put that there because, I just wanted to. Okay, just to make this a little bit more variated. Okay, you can do that. That area is a little bit of wet, but now it's almost dry again. And then I use a clean brush. Okay, so what I did is I had a towel actually on this side. Okay, and then I actually dab my paintbrush dry over there, but it's still damp. And then I say, what should we put there? Let's put burnt umber. Okay, so I put some burnt umber. Wow, I tell myself, okay, now it's rescuing time. Okay, there's a lot of burnt umber. And so this is how I rescue myself. I make it gentler. I diffuse it. And so when you're watching me or painting along with me, these will be the kind of thing that you would want it to pay attention and see what the heck is Kathy doing. Okay, and if it is still too much, then I will even disperse it more. But see, I have very high tolerance of, especially for a body of a rabbit, I have very high tolerance of this kind of irregularity because it's suggestion of fur and it's very, very cute, okay? Now, let's do this little area right here, okay? The suggestion of some fur that's overlapping, okay? Now, this area is still wet, and if you wanted to put some yellow ochre on there, you can, okay? Because yellow ochre and burnt umber can go together. And put some yellow ochre there, and that will brighten that area up a little bit. Maybe you will ask Kathy and say, Kathy, so how do I know what color go with what? Well, I think that when I try to paint along with you, I always tell you, I will say, Lamb Black goes with Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray go with dioxazine purple, and I will say now burnt umber go with yellow ochre. I believe that I have said that in the painting. And so now we're gonna do the overlapping. Okay, so this fur is gonna overlap down here, right? And so what I'm doing is I can use a smaller brush so you can see it a little bit better. Let's do that. Okay, let's use a smaller brush here. You can see, you can hear I'm squishing the water. Same thing, dapping it dry. Okay, I'm using this very, very small brush, and I'm going into the Payne's Gray. And here I will use stroke, and I will use the stroke and suggest that there is there's some fur over here. Okay, and then I will come in quickly and disperse this color because I don't want it to be so sharp. You know, the pigment to be harsh and the line to be sharp. And I say, well, that doesn't do much of anything. Back to a little bit more Payne's Gray, okay? And then I will do that. I can do that. While it's still wet, and I say, hey, that doesn't do very much of anything either. Now you can see that I am cleaning up the edges, right? Softening the edges. Now this area here is quite wet right now, and then I'm going to go in with the Lamb's Black and then further enhance the shadow. You can see that, right? I'm further enhancing the shadow. Now, if you're using a tablet or something, you can actually enlarge this and see what I am doing. I hope that you can see very well. You know, in order to use this really good camera, I cannot use I cannot zoom as easily, okay? So you can see that. Now what I just did over here is what I'm doing over here. This little area right there. So that when you look at the whole painting, you can see that there's fur here and it overlaps the leg. You see? That's what happened over there. And still you can see that there is no it's a variegated area that look like fur, but it doesn't look like this. Now, is there in life that we have a use for this? Yes. If we're painting a bison or bear, this will probably be very welcome. And so, guess what I will do? I will probably go into burnt umber. So this is another tip, okay? Burnt umber, and I'll mix it with lamb's black, okay? And then what I will do is I will, you know, like doing this flicking motion and do some fur. The fur and the hair of the bear. So, but then you say, Kathy, we're not painting a bear, we're painting a rabbit. I know. I do have high tolerance of, you know, of what you want to call this mud. But yes, of course, what I'm trying to encourage you and just not let you think that, you know, you have done something so wrong here, you know, because it is not. There is in nature that we can use this kind of, you know, mixing, because I still think that this is beautiful, even though a lot of people think that that's muddy. It's not a rabbit. It's not a whitish gray rabbit. It's not an American fuzzy lob, but it is some kind of animal. Okay, and so you have practiced and you have learned how to do some kind of animal, and so we can also do that here, which I didn't do. Okay, we can go into the Payne's gray and we can do fur. We can actually do fur, you know, in a flicking motion too. We can do that. Now, because I'm the kind of artist that I do not like a lot of busy fur, you know, I do not want to go in and paint fur. Now I have dried the paintbrush, okay? So I always like to kind of soften it. And I don't want a lot of busy fur, okay? So you can say, do you prefer this kind of fur or that kind of fur? But now you see, when you wait for something to dry and then you add on a different color, then the chance of us making mud, with professional watercolor is a lot less. I'm going to show you something that I did, okay? At the end of the painting, while we were doing all the purples for the flowers, okay? Remember, we take a little bit of purple. I don't know if it was the violet purple or this bluish purple, and I put it right there. And that's very pretty. That doesn't make mud, does it? And if I think that the line is too harsh, then I'll kind of flick it out, okay? Now, I will just prove it to you. Do you see that right here? You can, when this is dry, you can put that on top, and the color will not mix. When I want the color to mix, I will usually say something like, I will just let the color mix on the paper. But in here, if you give it a chance to dry and then you put in the layer on there, then this is not a, now this is Utah, right? And so this is kind of dry, okay? And so let's, I hope that this will be very helpful, especially for the bunny. And I know, Gracie, you are, you know, you might sound like you're a little bit frustrated. I hope that help. And how we can, you know, use the same color and this versus that, okay? Now what I'm going to do is just take a little time of using the watercolor palette that I got from my grandchildren, okay? My grandsons, because they're older. My granddaughter is only 3 years old. But you know what? She's ready. She is ready to use color pencil, I think. And so, because it is harder for them to have more control of the water at that age, and so I'm going to try to use a color pencil and, you know, but this is the palette that I got for them. If they come visit me, then they get to use their grandma's palette, okay? Now, we use the same brush. Okay, you can hear me. I'm cleaning it, okay? It's a clean brush, and I dab it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, so that I want you to be able to use things like that, but not make mud, okay? So we're doing the same thing, essentially, but just another exercise to help us understand that why we can use this palette. I understand that because I was so poor when I first started watercolor that, like, this is the M. Graham Burnt Umber. I have a lot of Daniel Smith too, and one day I'll show you. I do have a big collection, but this is what I usually use, these color, okay? And so what I did is I go buy one a week if they're $8 or $15, or I buy one a month, so that I remember though, in the very beginning, I did place a big order for one of the recommended palette from some artists, but other than that, I just get one tube at a time. But today, because we're older now, I have a little bit more money, so I was able to go, but I still don't, because I'm not a wasteful person. You don't see that I buy a lot of things and not use them. Sometimes I would, and I would, when I have a chance to show you my watercolor collection, I will tell you. I think I have told you guys some of how I come by with some of the watercolor, but I'll tell you more. Okay, now, so as of right now, we're going to go this palette, and I'm going to go into 2 color that is going to not be very good together, or 3. Let's do 3 color, okay? Let's do this blue color, maybe this orange color, and then what else do we drop in? Let's drop in some pink. Okay, now, but if we were using the dry method, okay, so I'm going to come in here, and I think that is the blue color that I'm looking for, okay? Okay, you can laugh at me if I can't make mud, okay? Now, so this is kind of dry, right now, and no, it's totally dry. Do you see how beautiful that color is? And what will that be equivalent to? I think, phthalo. I'll call that phthalo blue, okay? I don't use phthalo blue a lot. I like to use ultramarine, pinks, gray, and indigo, okay? Phthalo blue, okay? Now, I'm going to soften the line here. Imagine we're doing something. I don't really know what we're doing. We're painting something like a flower, okay? You see, I soften the line, right? Because I can do that. I can take my time because I can tell that pigment is not sedimentary. Okay, I'm going to let it dry. And in order for me to let it dry, then I need to make mud with you, okay, right? Because I'm giving this a chance to dry. And then I'm going to try to make mud, okay? Let's try to do that, okay? Now, so if this is your palette, okay, and somehow you have somebody give it to you, and so I'm going to pick up that blue, the same blue, okay? A very beautiful color. Okay, very beautiful color. And then you just like kind of keep painting because you're looking at the color and mesmerized, right? And say, ooh, Kathy said that we need to put some orange now. So I go into the orange, okay? Or you, or any of us, and then I'm going to say, oh, I'm just going to put that here. You can see what happened, right? This is still wet. Orange and blue are opposite in the color wheel, right? They're not complementary color. Oh, they are complementary, sorry. Yeah. They're complementary color, right? And so you can see that you have a situation now in your hand. And you say that, well, Kathy said that we'll do pink also. Okay, let's come over here and pick up this kind of pinkish color, okay? While we're painting a beautiful flower, I don't know what flower look like that. I'm just having fun, right, with you and trying to make mud. Because if I can't make mud, then you can laugh at me. You can see that. Oh, I'm going to put some of the pink here because, Kathy liked to say, let the color mix on the page, right? But I think that I won't want to leave you, astray. You can see what kind of mud well, it's kind of muddy, right? But it's still beautiful. I mean, but it probably is not what we are trying to paint. I can't imagine what will look like that in nature that we're painting together, but this is just one exercise. Now, you can see that this kind of practice, how fun it is, right? You would not go to that extreme to put color together, but in order for me to be able to make some mud, I have to do that for you, okay? Now, let's go to what I would really do, okay? Now, this is dry, okay? At this point, I would just say, okay, I'm going to put some orange in here. Then I would just kind of slightly use a damp brush, the one that we have put through the towel and clean, and then we'll go into the orange, okay? And then we can put, now, you see how brilliant that orange color is, right? Beautiful. A really beautiful color. And so, Kathy said, let's put a little bit more. Okay, and then we did that. Now, what about that little white line? You have no worry at this point. Okay, you can push, what I call push your luck, and push that closer and close up the white line. Okay, because this is dry, the color will have a hard time mixing. Okay, I have produced a line over there. No problem. I will soften that line. Okay. You see how beautiful that is? And I wanted to soften this line also. Okay. And then I'm doing the same thing, okay? I'm going to put pink here, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to let it dry. Okay, and so while we're painting, I have heard artists that, you know what they do? They paint two paintings together. I don't like that. I like to focus on one painting. But what I'll do is, if I'm painting the rabbit, then what will I do? Well, then at this point, I will go in and I will, let's take some yellow color, and that is the center of the blossom. And then we will draw. Let's draw it so that you can see it. Okay, let's pick out my pencil. Remember, this is what we did when we were doing the rabbit. Kathy just put petals on here, right? Because the petal is white, so I can't paint white. And so what I will do is I will use a brush, whatever brush, and go into my green mix and just pick up some perlene green mixed with sap green, okay? Now, because those perlene green and sap green are professional watercolor, and because it's my gift to you of my knowledge, so you know that you can mix that two color together, right? And then we're painting the background. You see? And while we're painting the background, and we'll keep going and put some indigo there too. Okay, why not? Put some indigo right there, why not? Right? And you know that with my green mix, we can mix it. You can see that this is mixing it on the paper. It's fine. It will do. It will be well with us. Okay? Now, how do Kathy know it's fine? Because for 20-some years, I have go in and practice and just think and draw and mix color and just have a lot of fun. Okay, you can see that my daisy, is having fun over there. Okay, and let's just put some more color and finish up the daisy so you can see the flower. Okay, and then I say, hey, this yellow, I need to put a little bit of, let's put burnt umber. Okay, because that will kind of put a shadow right here. You can see that because that yellow and burnt umber, right? You can mix those two. And I will not give you a list of what can mix and what cannot mix, because that will be something that you learn as you paint along with me. Okay? You can mix those two together. While it's wet or while it's dry, it's fine. Okay? This won't show up. Not something like this. Okay? This will be very, very pleasing. And that will be something that you take from me. I will give it to you while I'm sharing it to you, and you will take that knowledge from me. You can write it down in a notebook somewhere, but I have it all in my head. Now, I'm going to come back here because I know this is dry. It's Utah, right? It's dry, of course. And I will kind of slightly dampen that area a little bit. What was the color? Okay, was this the color? I think that was the color. That beautiful pink, okay? We're going to pick that up, and then we can do that. We can do that beautiful pink color. Now, I'm not saying that, like I say, I don't know why we would need that. Not even a hummingbird, right? And the pink color can actually go into the orange a little bit. And then we will soften, I'll come and soften this line, or I call it push my luck, and push it, so there's not a white line in between. I don't see why we need to have a white line, okay? And you say, oh, that's not intense enough, then we'll go back and get some more. You get that? And so you see how you can get the painting with this instead of this and this. Okay, not go into mud. And the reason why I bring out this palette is because I'm thinking about you. And I'll think, what is in their possession that could cause mud? This can change into mud very, very easily. Much easier than the professional watercolor. But with professional watercolor, there are still rules. And so, this is my palette that I have finally accumulated the knowledge. And so, I will probably put this on my blog, and I'll give it some kind of title. You'll recognize it. And then you can go in and see that. And then I might even put, you know, slightly write down the name of all these color, right? And so this is very precious to me because it allowed me to be the artist that I wanted to be. My knowledge that I have accumulated is invaluable to me, and I'm sharing this with you with every painting that we go through, right? Because I wanted to it make life easier for you, then you don't have to go through what I did. And you know, because I also practice on this palette, like I told you, you know, I was sitting there in front of the TV watching general conference of our church, and I use some of these color. It is a little harder than my precious accumulation of knowledge, but I can still do this because I have experience on how to do this and not this, right? And so if I'm unhappy, then I'll just like, but you can look, you can see this green color is this green, right? I'm sorry, this green color is this green right here. Because I have take the time to have fun and play with this palette, then if I want to make a leaf, I really do not need to do very much you know, looking around. I can just use this color. It's okay. But if I have my green mix, you know, in front of me, okay, then I can do whatever I want. And like I told you earlier, the green mix is right here. Okay, with these 4 color, you can mix them and they won't give you, they will never give you any grief, right? Because you can see that all 4 colors right here. And they are just fine. They are beautiful. They're not muddy. And I think I hope that I have explained myself clearly and try to let you know the best that I can, what is a good thing for us to do to avoid muddy situation, okay? And so this I will probably use this as the thumbnail to this video, and then I will get it up as fast as I can, probably within 2 days, and then we'll go into violet. And so because it's springtime and I want to do a violet, you can see though, right? I'm practicing again. I am just, you know, that's something that makes me happy, and I hope that it makes you happy too. And I owe my granddaughter one of these paintings. I have to paint it in an 8x10 and give it to her, and that is something that I do. And I hope that it gives you so much solace as it does me, and it helped my mind, and it helped me to calm down my anxiety or whatever, you know, and help me to learn. And so I hope that this is kind of informative to you. If you like it, you can leave me a message and tell me, okay? And tell me how, you know, this help you see things a little bit better. Because I think that I have explained that, but I understand that as the process kind of proceed during a painting, then sometimes it's hard. And so I always encourage you, if I'm ahead of you, because I need to keep going, keep rolling. It's the gigabyte, right? I can't just like kind of stop. But if you quite not understand anything, then go back a little bit and listen to me again, and then fast forward. But you know, just understand that using a lot of paper while you're in the beginning time to practice and to have fun and to learn about your color that is in around you, right? All these color, my violet, my aquamarine, you know, it'll probably take me a long time to be able to finish that chunk, and my dioxazine, like you see, I put color, you know, sometimes next to each other to help me. Now, one more thing before we say goodbye is about mixing a palette, okay, on the palette. Okay, now, so I really wanted to show you guys this. I plan to do that, okay? Like, for example, if you don't want to mix it on the paper, okay, and you are, you know, this is just the way you do things, okay? You just put the blue color there, okay? You put the blue color and, you know, do you see that green on top of that yellow? Usually that's not me because I don't do very much of that, but, you know, for example, and you say I wanted to mix the orange color with the yeah, and then you see a color that looks like this, okay? What would I wouldn't call that mud. It's burns. Let's use a piece of scrap paper, okay? If I put this color right here, it is burnt umber. maybe a little bit lighter than burnt umber. But, you know, and then you say, oh, but I kind of want some yellow or to lighten it up, okay? So I take the yellow from here and I lighten it up, and that will be kind of like burnt sienna. Okay? And then you said that, but then, you know, if you are not someone with a very good memory like me, you know, with the blue, and then you say, I put this orange and this, and then I want to further lighten it. And wow, what is that color? Is it gold? No, actually, that looked like the yellow ochre that we have in my professional color, right? And then you say, okay, let's put in some purple color in there. I don't know, or pink, okay? Now, I don't know what this color is. I guess it's a peach. Now, do you see how it is very beneficial for you to kind of play around with your palette, and then you can write down what did I do. Now, but I don't know what palette you have at home, and so I probably will not be able to go through this kind of exercise with you. Does that make sense? Unless you got exactly what I have, then you can, you know, I can do that, but I don't even do that because I don't mix my color like this. I have my yellow ochre, so I don't need to do that. I have my burnt umber, so I don't need to do that. Now, when these dries, they might not be. Now, I'll put my professional burnt umber next to that from M. Graham. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference in the color? Even though this is a very acceptable, I still like that because it is more pure to me, you know, and I can, you know, I can have a different tone here, meaning that's darker and then that's lighter. I can mix it like that because for me to, out of this puddle, to be able to create a darker tone, that will be kind of hard. And so all this you can do, and you can play while you have time at home, and then you can just, you know, play around with it. And if you like this, you know, and this, I told you that that's yellow ochre, right? And this is my professional yellow ochre. Professional, it could be from either M. Graham or Daniel Smith. You know, I love that, right? Absolutely love that color. And like I say, you know, I can go in and use a more intense yellow ochre and say, oh, I need a little bit more intense over here. But I also know that yellow ochre doesn't want to intensify in any way. So usually what I do is I will go in with a burnt umber and use that as the intensifier. And do that, okay? And so, yes, there is plenty of value to using professional watercolor, and that will be something that you can decide for yourself, right? Because I'm here, I don't like to be wasteful, and I don't like to spend a lot of money. I just want you guys to have fun and to be happy doing things, and so that's why I do this video, and so that I can be of, if it was of any help and be helpful to you guys, that will make me very happy. And so I'm going to say goodbye, and I will hope that you will subscribe to me. And if I further know that there's a need for any other technique, you can ask me. And if I felt like, okay, I can do that, sometimes I felt like, well, maybe I can't explain that carefully, then I won't. But I hope this is, you know, very helpful to you. And subscribe and follow along and paint along with me, okay? And while you're painting, remember what I did, you know, and probably not very much of that, and I don't really know what that is, and so we can, you know, and I think this part right here, you can call that mud, you know. Anyway, and I will see you in my next painting, okay? Love you guys very much. Bye-bye.